Hello and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, your sanctuary for navigating life's complexities with clarity and grace. We're geared towards those of us over 40, those who have lived and learned a thing or two and are ready to embrace the journey ahead with open eyes and a resilient spirit. Today, we're delving into a profound and often delicate subject, the mother-child bond and its lasting impact on our lives. We understand that this topic can be deeply personal and potentially triggering, so we approach it with the utmost sensitivity and respect. Our goal is not to judge or condemn, but to illuminate a path toward healing and self-discovery. Now, before we dive in, if you find this content resonates with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support helps us reach more people who can benefit from these discussions, and it encourages us to continue creating content that supports your journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. We release content multiple times each week, so click the bell and select all notifications. In the silence of every soul, there sometimes exists a cry that never quite finds its way into words. It's not born from the noise and chaos of the external world, but from the earliest, most primal experiences of life. The first gaze of a mother, the embrace that either soothed or confused, the presence that either healed or hurt, these are the foundational moments that shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We often believe that the most sacred connection in existence is between lovers or close friends. Zen Buddhism teaches us that we must confront that which causes us suffering. It must be traced to the roots without facing that origin, and the illusion remains unbroken. An ancient Zen proverb says, "The source of the stream must be found before the waters can be purified." To truly understand why healing sometimes feels impossible, why relationships falter, why loneliness lingers like a silent ghost, or why anger flares up without apparent cause, we must dare to confront the truth, not about the external world, but about our mothers. And not necessarily the person she was, but the profound imprint she left on our developing psyche. Let's embark on this exploration together, softly, with reverence, but without fear. We're untangling an invisible thread that stretches back to the very beginning of our lives. If this makes sense to you, please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support helps us reach more people who can benefit from these discussions, and it encourages us to continue creating content that supports your journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. Long before we learned language, as infants, we knew emotion. Long before the world gave everything a name, our mothers gave us presence or absence. In our earliest breath, our souls looked for safety, reaching with our eyes, searching for connection. The first form we ever saw was our mothers. Yet, not all who mother with love. Some mother with fear, some with guilt. Some mothers carry wounds passed down through generations, wounds passed without words, without conscious intent. This is the beginning of what Zen masters call the karmic loop. It's not entirely the mother's fault, nor is it the child's burden to bear in isolation. But if it remains unseen, this pain is reborn in the adult child, again and again. Buddhism speaks of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Suffering, too, is reborn when ignorance veils the truth. Now, we're going to weave a story for you. It's not about any specific person, but about the soul, the universal soul who was once a child. It's the story of the garden that never bloomed. In a quiet place, where the moon reflected over still waters, lived a child with eyes full of questions. From the moment of birth, this child looked towards the mother, not just for nourishment, but for meaning. The mother held the child, but her arms were not warm, her mind was not still. She was wounded deeply, but she never spoke of it. She smiled sometimes, but her soul trembled in silence. Her touch was brief, her love felt conditional. She asked the child to behave before the child even knew what behavior meant. She asked the child to succeed before the child understood what failure was. And so, the child learned, "I must earn love." When the child wept, the mother turned her gaze away, not out of cruelty, but because she could not hold her own pain, let alone another's. When the child reached, the mother was busy chasing her own ghosts. Yet, the child still loved her desperately. So, the child tried to become what the mother would notice, not a child, but a performer, not a soul, but a shape. And in this shape, the child grew. But something went missing. The child forgot how to feel. The garden inside the child, the one meant to bloom with joy, laughter, and stillness, remained untended. No birds sang, no flowers opened, only silence, the illusion of forgiveness without truth. If this makes sense to you, please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support helps us reach more people who can benefit from these discussions, and it encourages us to continue creating content that supports your journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. Years passed. The child became an adult. Friends came, relationships came, but love always felt distant, or worse, unbearable. The adult tried to forgive the mother. People said, she did her best, or she meant well. The adult repeated these things like mantras, but the soul did not believe them. Because true forgiveness, in Zen, is not forgetting, it's seeing clearly. You cannot forgive what you have not faced. You cannot heal what remains unnamed. Zen teaches us that to clean the house, we must enter every room, even the ones locked long ago. And so, the adult returned within, to the locked room where the child waited. In silence, the adult sat in meditation. No more distractions, no more denial. The old memories returned, not all at once, but as feelings, tightness in the chest, a deep loneliness, a quiet fear of never being good enough. And beneath it all, longing for a mother who could not love fully because she herself had never been loved fully. The adult wept, not for what was lost, but for what never was. And in that moment, something broke, not in a painful way, but like a shell cracking open to reveal the tender life inside. The adult whispered to the child within, I see you. I believe you. You didn't imagine the pain, and you didn't deserve it. The child, after all those years, finally felt seen. What you must face to heal, healing does not begin with blaming the mother. It begins with facing what she was unable to give and how that absence shaped you. This is the truth, in 3 parts. 1. The love you needed may never have been given. 2. The safety you craved may never have been offered. 3. The validation you searched for may always have been denied. Facing this is not cruelty, it is clarity. Only by facing what was not present can you stop seeking it from others who cannot give it either. Only by grieving what was missing can you become what you truly are, not a seeker of scraps, but the fullness of your own light. In Zen, the practice is not to judge, but to observe, to see things as they are. And the most radical seeing begins at the origin, your mother, not as a saint, not as a villain, but as a woman who held you in her arms while her own soul was trembling. This is the truth that heals. You can hold your pain without becoming your pain. You can face your mother without blaming her. You can free yourself without asking her to change. The path of compassion. Once the adult saw the child's pain, a deeper compassion was born, not just for the inner child, but for the mother too. Because now it became clear, the mother, too, was once a child. She, too, looked up seeking love and perhaps found none. She, too, learned to survive instead of feel. She, too, built walls instead of gardens. So, the adult whispered, not out of obligation, but out of understanding, I release you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. This is the essence of Buddhist compassion, not pity, not weakness, but fierce freedom. You do not have to carry her pain anymore. You do not have to fix her. You do not have to keep becoming who she wanted you to be. You are free. The blooming of the inner garden, with each meditation, the silence became softer. With each breath, the pain became lighter. The inner child now played, laughed, and cried without shame, and finally loved, not out of desperation, but wholeness. Now, the adult did not seek a mother and a partner, did not shrink in fear when abandoned, did not chase those who withheld affection. Now, the adult simply was, full, present, alive. If this makes sense to you, please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support helps us reach more people who can benefit from these discussions, and it encourages us to continue creating content that supports your journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. Zen says, when you stop trying to be the self others needed you to be, the true self arises like the sun over the mountains. This was the healing, not a cure from the past, but liberation from its shadow. The wound that became a window. Your mother may not change. She may never say sorry. She may never even understand the pain. But your healing does not depend on her. Your healing depends on your willingness to see. See what was missing, see how it shaped your fears, see how it continues to live in your reactions, then release it. Zen is not about running from suffering, it is about entering it without resistance. Buddha never said suffering ends by forgetting the past, he said it ends by waking up to the truth of it. So, today, sit quietly, breathe deeply, and whisper to yourself, I release the illusion that I was unworthy. I release the chase for what she could not give. I return to my own soul. And watch how peace begins to rise like dawn, not because you were fixed, but because you finally faced the one truth your healing waited for. You will never heal until you face this about your mother, but once you do, healing becomes not just possible, but inevitable. In the stillness that follows truth, the soul breathes for the first time without armor. What was once hidden beneath layers of denial, pleasing, performing, and guilt is now open to the light of awareness. And it is in this light that true reflection begins. 1. Facing without hatred. One of the deepest Zen realizations is this: you must face the fire, not to burn, but to transform. To face your mother's limitations is not to become bitter, it is to let go of the illusion that love must always be warm, perfect, or reciprocal. It is to see her humanity fully, not just the parts that gave, but also the parts that failed. Hating her keeps the wound open. Idolizing her keeps it hidden. But seeing her exactly as she was, without distortion, that is what brings healing. Zen does not ask you to make excuses for her. It asks you to remove illusions about her. The teachings become clearer when seen from the lens of karmic inheritance. A wounded mother may pass on her pain, not out of malice, but because it lived in her like a ghost she never exorcised. When a child inherits this ghost without understanding it, the haunting continues. The moment you say, yes, she could not love me the way I needed, the ghost begins to fade. 2. The emotional echo in adult life. Until you face the emotional imprint of your relationship with your mother, you will unconsciously recreate it. You will fall in love with those who feel familiar, not safe. You will crave affection but reject it when it appears. You will fear abandonment yet push people away before they can abandon you. You will overgive, not from love, but from fear of not being enough. These patterns are not who you are, they are reactions to a need that was never fulfilled. Zen asks not for analysis, but observation. Meditation reveals how the child still lives in the adult body, triggered, desperate, scared. Facing this means whispering to that child, you are not in danger anymore. Healing happens when the inner child realizes the adult now sees clearly, loves deeply, and no longer waits at a locked door hoping someone opens it. 3. The importance of grieving what was missing. The deepest sadness often doesn't come from what happened, but from what never did. No gentle bedtime stories, no unconditional holding, no words of reassurance, no space to be imperfect and still loved. Zen teaches that grief is not weakness, it is water that softens the hardened earth of the soul. Grieve the mother you longed for. Grieve the version of yourself that always tried to earn love. Grieve the innocence that confused silence for safety. Let the grief move through your body without resistance. When it passes, what remains is clarity and peace. 4. You are not your mother's story. A powerful reflection in Buddhism is that you are not the story you inherited. If your mother was silent, you can become expressive. If she was angry, you can become still. If she was afraid, you can become brave. If she controlled you, you can become free. Freedom begins with a vow: I will no longer continue the cycle. Every conscious breath you take, every boundary you uphold, every moment you choose awareness over reaction, you untangle the karmic knot. Zen says, when one person awakens, 7 generations are freed. You are not just healing yourself, you are healing the invisible generations behind and before you. 5. Returning to the true self. The child adapted, the child shaped itself to survive, but the true self, your original face before the world told you who to be, still waits. Zen meditation reveals this original face. It is not wounded, it is not broken, it is not seeking. It is pure presence. As you face what your mother could not give, the masks fall away. What remains is not emptiness, but vastness. No longer shaped by shame, no longer hiding imperfection, no longer blaming or pleasing, just breathing, just being, just free. 6. Practicing healing daily. Healing is not an event, it is a daily practice. These steps support the reflection: sit in silence each morning. Ask your inner child what it needs and listen. Write letters you don't send. Say everything you wish she said to you and everything you wish to say. Set boundaries without guilt. You are not responsible for anyone's peace but your own. Hold compassion like a candle, even when your mother doesn't change. You can remain kind without collapsing. Forgive yourself for not knowing, for trying too hard, for carrying what wasn't yours. Each act is a stone laid on the path to liberation. 7. Love without attachment. In the end, Zen does not ask you to love your mother perfectly. It invites you to love wisely. Love without needing her to apologize. Love without trying to save her. Love without losing yourself. Let go of the idea that she must understand your pain for you to release it. You are not the child anymore, you are the witness, you are the healer, you are the light. And now, when you say, I am healing, it no longer means, I am fixing the past, but rather, I am freeing my future. Sit with your breath, place a hand on your heart, close your eyes, and say inwardly, I was shaped by her, but I am not bound by her. I release the fear that I must carry this forever. I return to the truth of who I am, whole, wise, awake. Now smile, not because it's over, smile because you now see, and in seeing, you are already free. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.